Hey guys, this is like my third attempt. I don't know why my computer hates my guts. It hasn't been cooperating lately, but I've already recorded something 2 times separately, and for whatever reason, it decided to mute my mic halfway through like it did the other day. I just wanted to re-record like the first part of the video that I just did because, and mind you, now that for whatever reason, it deleted itself from my recording software. Anyway, I was getting ready to come on here and share the video that I am about to share. And I had to sign into my Facebook on my computer. I never go on my computer to use Facebook. It's always just on my phone. So I had to sign in. And when I signed in, it popped up with this like, I don't have it now because I had to click out of it to get to the next screen that I'll show you in a second. But when I signed into it, it had this pop up that was like asking if I were feeling like I could self-harm type stuff. Okay. Weird, especially for anybody who ever watches or follows or is friends with me on Facebook. Like, I don't know if I could be like a happier person for the most part in general. So I found that very odd and maybe a bit uncomfortable to get this message. And I clicked on a little link at the bottom of the screen that said, "Why would we send this to you?" And I'm going to show you what it gave me as reasoning behind why it sent this to me. Okay. I'm going to just check really quick that it's not muting me again for some other godforsaken reason. No. Okay. All right. So I asked, why are you sending me this message? It says, we've built tools that allow your friends to easily report posts about this word here, self-deletion or self-harm they may find concerning, so Facebook can provide resources to anyone who may urgently need them. We also use patterns we've seen from previous reports to help us proactively identify potentially concerning posts. If we think something you've posted may suggest you're in danger of harming yourself, we'll quickly provide you with resources that may help. We've also partnered with mental health organizations across the globe to provide tips and resources for people who might be going through difficult times, as well as for those who want to help. Now, again, I couldn't even fathom what I could have possibly posted anytime recently that would indicate any of this, or that a friend would like suggest, unless by accident. So maybe somebody clicked on something accidentally. But I don't even think that's I don't know about you, but I've like reported certain things on Facebook before, like maybe inappropriate ads and stuff. And you have to go through like multiple screens, like, and choose options throughout. I'm sure you can't just accidentally hit a button and it just goes through. So yeah, I find this very interesting, especially given the video that I'm about to show you, posted by Ian Went, who I've spoken about before. So definitely check him out. But yeah, that's it for now. Definitely weird, definitely concerning. On to sharing that portion of this video here. All right, let me go ahead and make sure. All right, it looks fine right now. Hopefully I don't lose audio. Okay, so let's watch this video.
Bet you didn't see this. What you're about to watch is easily one of the scariest, most disturbing things that I personally have ever seen.
It really is.
When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas.
I just want to make sure that people heard what she just said. We're going to go back.
We pressured CEOs. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything.
When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny. That's crazy.
Our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs. Some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully.
So this is Leora Rez. I think that's how you say her name. the founder of the organization Stop Anti-Semitism. So I'm just going to kind of break this down as we go. But first, I need you to understand something. As you're watching this, consider the fact that this is the organization that I was talking about a little while ago that said that Miss Rachel was an anti-Semite. Okay, she brought a little girl who was blown up by the IDF and who had to have her leg amputated. She had her on her show and showed her love and care. And because of that, these people, this woman, this organization called her an anti-Semite. Not only an anti-Semite, they nominated her for Anti-Semite of the Year. Okay, so
first of all, can we believe that, like, why do we have anti-Semite of the year? Is there anything productive that comes from having something like that? Nazi of the year, racist of the year? Let's celebrate those people. Let's make sure we really put a spotlight on them.
So keep that in mind as you watch this.
For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered consequences. But after 10/7, the scale of threat and the urgency of our mission changed dramatically overnight.
Yeah, I bet it did ramp up because after October 7th, a lot of people started to wake up and realize what was going on in the Middle East, specifically that the Israeli government literally committing war crimes and genociding and ethnically cleansing an entire people. See, that's what happened. People started to realize that. So I'm sure that everything ramped up for you. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented them, feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsions.
So keep an eye on the numbers here. So they've persecuted 1,000 people, 400 of them who've been impacted to the point where it's affected their future, their entire life. They've lost their jobs. They've probably lost relationships. Let's keep going.
More than 300 of them remain in an active investigatory state across universities, corporations, DEI departments, unions, hospitals, nonprofits, and yes, unfortunately, federal government agencies.
She's literally saying the quiet part out loud. They are literally targeting people and calling them Jew haters for things like criticizing the Israeli government, for things like calling out genocide, for things like standing up for innocent civilians that are being murdered at mass. She's literally.
So we're constantly criticizing like the American government, right? Like this, we do it all the time because of, freedom of speech. But now if we criticize the Israeli government, that means we're all types of racist. We're terrible people. We don't deserve to be able to have jobs to support our families. We clearly hate an entire population of people. Right.
Literally saying they give them the label Jew hater and then they go on a witch hunt after all these people. That's what she's saying. There's more. Keep watching.
And yes, 5 arrests to date tied directly to threats and violence of anti-Semitic conduct we helped expose. This is what accountability looks like. This is what action looks like. This is what pushing back hard looks like against.
So out of all 1,000 people that they're persecuting, what did she say? 5 of them or something are individuals that were deemed to have like maybe actually made threats, which could potentially be like viable, like actual real, potentially bad people. 5 of the 1,000, although they still have 300 they're working on. They might be able to squeak out some convincing evidence if they keep pushing hard enough.
Against the tidal wave of hate that has consumed the United States and global population.
The tidal wave of hate or the tidal wave of awareness and realization of the subversion and manipulation and gaslighting of this entire situation? Which one did you actually mean? I think that's what you actually meant. I think that's 100%. What you're actually talking about. I think that's what the tidal wave has been.
From our founding, Stop Anti-Semitism has operated on one guiding belief. Anti-Semitism thrives when there are no consequences. So we created consequences, a lot of them. We stepped in. We documented the offenders. We worked with attorneys, lawmakers, and victim families. And we ensured the message was not mistakable. If you target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life.
Oh, thanks to Google and SEO. Yeah. So that whole like buying out Google thing. So it really was.
And TikTok.
Just to create this narrative. It really was just to target people who oppose this regime.
Let's be real. Bibi Netanyahu was on camera saying they need to own TikTok so that they can control the narrative and what people are saying. Hello.
And oppose what they're doing in the middle.
They really don't even try anymore to like sugarcoat or like make a buffer for the information that they're saying. They just come out and say it now because they've gotten away with so much of it for so long that they just know that they can keep going because people aren't going to do anything.
Middle East and oppose all the subversion and manipulation and infiltration of our government and agencies and all these other things. Okay, got it. And it'll follow you for the rest of your life. Okay.
Fucking wild statement.
There's more.
When you're online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side. But the fight is bigger than the exposure, and it's about securing a future where employers understand that anti-Semitism is not activism, it's bigotry, and it will cause you to lose your job. A future where fact, not propaganda, shapes policy.
I'm sorry, a future where fact, not propaganda, shapes policy. Okay.
A future where global institutions, from Google to Chat GPT, from governments to universities to media, finally treats Jew hatred with the serious of other minority targeted hate. Together we need...
Finally. I just find that so insane to imagine. Like for all these years, we've all gotten away with like talking crap about Jewish people right to their faces. Like we just hate them all. Like obvious, like I had said in the initial attempt when I recorded this and it fell through, but like one of my best friends, her family's literally from Israel and she's amazing and her family's amazing. It's ridiculous to think that having critique of government officials is just going to loop you into this category of like just hating all Jews. It's absolutely insane. Anybody with half a brain knows that it's not true.
We need three things: action, real action, as I listed, accountability, relentless vigilance, because anti-Semitism does not take breaks. It doesn't wait for elections. It doesn't disappear because we are exhausted and tired. And when I tell you myself and my team are exhausted and tired, that's the least of it. Stop Anti-Semitism has never been more essential, more strategic, or more effective than it is now. But we cannot do this alone. The demand, the volume of tips, the number of investigations, sadly, it continues to grow instead of decrease. If we want a safer future for the Jewish people, this is the moment to stand together and act. We have to push harder to make it clear that Jewish safety is a non-negotiable. Tonight, I'm asking you to always be in the fight with us, not just in spirit, but in true action. Participate in calls to action. Write letters to your governmental officials. When we act, lives change. And anti-Semites learn, sometimes for the very first time in their lives and history, that targeting Jews will come at a price. And together we can ensure that Jew hatred never goes unanswered again.
Man, what I would give to see like a thorough breakdown of the 1,000 individuals, the 1,000 anti-Semites and like their crimes. Like I want to know what their crimes are that got them on that list. I'm at this point, am I on the list? Probably. I'm probably on the list.
As a former refugee from the USSR, I say this with all of my heart. God bless the United States. God bless Israel, and Am Israel Chai. Thank you so much.
This lady is really something. Understand something, guys. People like this, organizations like this, are what are causing anti-Semitism to grow. Like
without a doubt, 100%. And it makes you wonder if maybe that's the plan. Like if we do this, it allows us to step in and create these narratives and create more control and get rid of people that, are going to speak out. I think that's just intentional.
Actual anti-Semitism, okay? Because here's the thing. She's not talking about anti-Semitism, okay? She's not talking about Jew hatred. This organization is, while they probably have targeted some people that are actually anti-Semitic and actually hating on Jews, there's people, like I said, Miss Rachel and other people who are not Jew haters and they're not anti-Semitic and they're not doing things that are anti-Semitic, okay? If you remember what...
Yeah, and let's clear, obviously, hating an entire collective of people is friggin' wrong. You shouldn't do that, obviously. Like, there are great people everywhere in the world. But clearly, Miss Rachel she's not one of the bad ones, you know? And that's a perfect example. Like, obviously, if she's one of these people, it's safe to say, you know, you're looking at the wrong stuff, obviously intentionally, but
What happened to Dave Portnoy?
Hey, f the Jews! F you, Dave Portnoy.
Not cool.
Why you come in the camera, buddy? Why you come here?
Oh my gosh.
That's Jew hatred, okay? And that's not okay. You can't do that. That is actual Jew hatred. That's something we should absolutely not do, and we should absolutely criticize. And honestly, if they were going to expose that person for being as hateful as they are, like, okay, cool, I get it. That's understandable.
I've said this before too. We obviously have the freedom of speech in America. Well, for now. But it comes with consequences. You know, yes, you can have opinions and you can have shitty opinions that just make you kind of an awful person. You're allowed to. You also have to deal with like the social repercussions that come from that shitty behavior. And that's the nature of it. This is the natural consequence. But that's where it should end. Like until it steps into you're harming people physically or planning to harm people physically, and there's proof of that. Until it gets to that point, your freedom of speech is just that. Like this stuff that she's probably referring to, like he said, we obviously don't know all the things she's talking about in her video and the 1,000 people, but I think it's safe to say if it's anything like Ms. Rachel, yeah, that's a load of shit.
Understandable. But that's not what these people are doing. They are using anti-Semitism and Jew hatred as a guise to go after anyone and everyone that opposes the Israeli government, their actions in the Middle East, Zionism and the Zionist agenda, both in the Middle East and in the United States of America. Don't believe me? Watch this.
They're picking out individuals who they think are critical of Israel, and they're smearing them. And they're telling them that what's going to happen here is if you don't cease and desist from acting like this, we in the end will do much to destroy your career.
A few years later, these individuals are applying for jobs within your company.
Canary Mission's promotional video threatens to pass these smears on to prospective employers.
Ensure that today's radicals are not tomorrow's employees.
Canary Mission is highly, highly effective to the extent that we monitor the Students for Justice in Palestine and their allies. We're doing it better. I mean, not we, but someone not in this group.
If you're Jewish and you're watching this right now, you need to stand up. You need to stand up and you need to say this isn't okay. It's okay because it's one thing to combat actual hatred towards you and your people. It's another to label any opposition to the government of Israel as hateful or anti-Semitic. It's another thing to say that criticizing politicians and people who are taking tons and tons and tons of money from another country in order to change and manipulate policy in our country is anti-Semitic or hateful. And why is it okay for the people in Israel to want it to be all about Israel? Why is it okay for them to have nationalistic pride in their country and talk all about their country? Why is that okay? But when we do it here, we're called anti-Semitic and hateful because we're about America and not Israel. I'll tell you what, this kind of stuff is how you create actual hatred and actual anti-Semitism. While I am smart enough and grounded enough to not allow this to create actual hatred in my heart for an entire people based on the sins of a few or even the sins of many, there are many people who are not able to separate that and who will straight up just say, you know what? I'm done. So stand up, get loud, and fight this because it's only going to get worse. And that's exactly what these people want because it creates more ability to control everything we do, everything we say, and everything we believe. But hey, I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
Isn't it wild too when you consider what Facebook greeted me with when I logged in on it here on my computer? I feel like that's pretty telling, don't you? Anyway, I felt like this was really important. I wanted to share. He just posted it today. And definitely here's his content information. Follow him. But otherwise, I think that's gonna do it for me today. I hope everyone has a great weekend and you're all getting prepared for Christmas. And I think that's gonna do it. I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.